Okay, there we go. I'd like to call the Muskegon County Board of Commissioners Ways and Means Committee meeting of May 18th, 2021, and it's 4 p.m. I have a roll call, please.
Commissioner Brown, in your location.
Here, City of Muskegon.
Commissioner Hovey Wright. I don't see her on here anymore. Commissioner Hovey Wright. Oh, I'll come back. Commissioner Hughes.
Here, Muskegon Township.
Commissioner Leering.
Here, North Muskegon. Did you copy that?
Yes, sir. Commissioner Nash.
Here, City of Muskegon.
Commissioner Pego. Commissioner Pego. Chairman Skolnick.
Here, City of Norton Shores.
Commissioner Wilkins. You're muted, Commissioner Wilkins.
Muskegon County Hall of Justice.
And Commissioner Sear.
Here, Twin Lake, Michigan. Have we got the other two?
Yeah, I'm here. Hovey Wright, City of Muskegon.
Thank you. And Commissioner Pego. I will look for her to rejoin.
Pardon me?
I'll look for her to rejoin.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to item 3, which is approval of the minutes of May 4th, 2021.
So moved.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Can we have a roll call vote on that, please?
Commissioner Hovey Wright.
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes.
Yes.
Commissioner Leering. Commissioner Leering.
Yes.
Commissioner Nash.
Yes.
Chairman Skolnick.
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
And Commissioner Sear.
Yes. Okay, minutes are approved. Item 4 is public comment on an agenda item. Please limit your comment to 2 minutes and on an agenda item only, please.
Okay.
And Derwin. And Derwin, can you unmute?
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you, Ann.
Thank you. Ann Derwin, City of Muskegon. I'd like to request either Commissioner Kim Sear or Beth Dick to explain this truth in taxation. Why is there an increase in each proposal listed? And it appears this is going to be another tax increase for Muskegon County property owners. So I'd just like somebody to explain that, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Ann. You see any other hands out there, Mr. Eisenbar?
No, I do not.
Okay, let's move on to item number 5 then, communication budget reports. Is that what we're working on, or are we working on items for consideration?
That's actually, this is Beth Dick, Director of Finance. That's just an informational item that I provide each month.
Okay, so we file that, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, now, public hearing, community development block grant. Tim Burgess, I believe, is gonna work with this.
Mike, I think we need to take a motion to go into public hearing.
I'll make a motion to go into a public hearing for the community development block grant.
Support.
Thank you. A motion and a second. Do we have to vote on that, or?
Yes, we need a vote.
All right, roll call vote, please.
Hovey Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes,
yes,
Commissioner Laring,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Pago. I don't think she's on yet. Chairman Skolnick,
yes,
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
yes,
Commissioner Seer,
Yes.
8 yes.
Okay, we have 8 yes. Now this is a public hearing, so I assume Tim Burgess is going to address the public.
Yes, he is on with us. Go and unmute, please.
Good afternoon, all.
Good afternoon.
The purpose of this public hearing is it's required that we do this to indicate the availability of program income from the old CDBG program, the Community Development Block Grant, is for use exclusively for homeowners in non-entitlement communities. That is, just to refresh everyone's memory, every political entity in Muskegon County, with the exception of Muskegon, Muskegon Heights, and Norton Shores, those 3 entities receive the same funding through different sources. So these are for the rest of the county. I'm sorry, I could not hear that.
Susie? Go ahead, Tim.
But that's it, really. This is the legal notification that we must do to let the public know that these funds are available. We've already had some people reach out to us. I believe we should be able to get some projects going quickly, and it's a small amount of money, so I don't think it'll take long to spend, especially when you take into consideration some people are looking for roofing, and apparently the roof sheeting is now made of diamond dust. So it shouldn't take all that long to expend it.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Charles.
I was just wondering, Tim, how much is the grant amount?
It's not a grant, Mr. Nash. It is the amount of program income that came in for a specific time period. It's just over $50,000. I don't have the exact amount in front of me as I am working remotely today. And
No, that's what I was for.
just over 50K.
Any other questions for Mr. Burgess?
Oh, one more question.
Yes, Chairman, or
Of that,
Vice
of
Chair.
that
excuse
amount,
me.
is there a limit per project?
I'm sorry, sir?
Of that amount, is there a limit per project?
Yeah, we set the limit at $15,000. We did that at a prior Ways and Means meeting, and that was already blessed by the board at large. The 15,000 is the cap. It's exclusively for emergencies, if you'll remember. So we wanted to set it high enough that, you know, a large roof project could actually be accomplished. And also, we're out there in the periphery, there's a fair amount of drain fields that can go bad, et cetera. So we wanted to be able to contain projects like that.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, so what do we do? I guess I'm not,
We'll go in the public comment.
I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Thank you.
Support.
okay, we have a motion of support to close the public hearing. Do we need to vote on that?
Yes.
yep,
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Laring,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Pago,
Yes.
Chairman Skolnick,
yes,
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
yes,
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes,
yes,
Commissioner Seer.
Yes. Okay, move on to number 7 items for consideration. The first item today is WM 21/05-51, which is to approve the payment of the accounts payable of $5,669,212.82, covering the period of April 16th, 2021 through May 6th, 2021 for checks presented by the county clerk.
So move.
support,
Have have a motion and support. Are there any questions, comments?
I have a question.
Yes, Commissioner Hughes, go ahead.
Thank you. Beth, we had a question at the last meeting, I don't think you were there, about whether some of the new purchases, we could use money out of the cash pool to pay some of those off, so we would save the interest on that. I wondered if you had looked into that and maybe any of these that could be paid out of the cash pool rather than come out of that. And I also wondered, why isn't the cash pool under the control of the county board? Why is it under the control of the township treasurer?
Beth Dick, Director of Finance. Regarding the question that came up at the last full board meeting related to the sheriff vehicle purchases,
Mhm.
I am working on the response to that because there's a difference between using the cash pool like we've used it for Health West because we're recording a receivable, assuming that that money is going to get paid back to us. So in that essence, you know, in those cases, in that case, the money is recorded as a receivable. With regard to the sheriff vehicles, that's money that's being spent and we're getting a vehicle in return. So it's a little bit different in how you look at it and where the money is paid out of. Really, all the expenditures that you see on this list and throughout the county, you know, anytime you see the accounts payable list, that's all being paid out of the cash pool. So everything is part of the one bank account that we basically have for the county. All of those payments come out of that one bank account. Your second question regarding the treasurer.
Yes,
That
you didn't just tell us that the cash pool was under the, was in an account and the treasurer had control of that?
Yeah, in the memo that I sent out a while back, yes,
Yes.
that the treasurer is the authorized person of that bank account. I mean, you ultimately are approving the payments as you are right here. And you're authorizing anytime that you approve a contract, the board is authorizing
Okay,
expenditures that come out of that cash account. It's really just the treasurer is the overseer of the county's bank account.
thank you, Beth.
Yes, and I will still be getting a response to you regarding the question on the sheriff vehicles.
Any other questions for Beth? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Hughes,
Yes,
Commissioner Laring,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Pego,
Yes.
Chairman Skolnick,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
yes,
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Seer.
Yes. That item passes. The next item on the agenda is WM 21/05-52 to approve the Truth in Taxation public hearing schedule and to adopt the resolution setting June 15, 2021 as the date for the Truth in Taxation public hearing for the purpose of discussing and receiving testimony regarding the proposed tentative levy of 5.6601 mils for Muskegon County General Operating in July 2021, the proposed tentative levy of 0.3198 mils for Lake Shore Museum Center operating in December 2021, the proposed tentative levy of 0.0746 mils for Department of Veterans Affairs operating in December 2021, the proposed tentative levy of 0.2979 mils for Muskegon County Central Dispatch operating in December 2021, and the proposed tentative levy of 0.4966 mils for PA 39 of 1976 Activities or Services for Older Persons Act in December 2021.
So moved.
support.
We have a motion and
Mr. Chair, I
support.
have
Questions, comments, or concerns? Chairman Skolnick, please.
No, it was not me.
Oh, I'm sorry. What's that?
Commissioner Sear, this is Commissioner Laring. I'm wondering if we can get an explanation of this from Beth, and also how many other counties, is this something that happens in every county every year? or is it kind of in a situation we're in that's can you explain that, please, Beth?
Yes, I certainly can. Yes, Beth Dick, Director of Finance. Yes, the truth in taxation, holding a truth in taxation public hearing is a requirement. And it references in the summary of request the common law that or compiled law that it refers to. We have two requirements for the need to hold a public hearing. And down in the summary request, I described those. There's a calculation that has to occur every year where we determine if, based on the fraction where we take last year's taxable value and divide it by this year's taxable value. And if that fraction, and you can see the calculation on page 29, it's item number 3. If that fraction calculation is less than 1, which this year it is, and I apologize, in my summary request, I pulled the wrong fraction number. I said it was 0.9934. It's actually 0.9796 if you look at page 29. If it's less than 1, we're required to hold this truth and taxation public hearing. And then the other requirement, to hold a truth and taxation public hearing, is for the use, for us to be able to use what is referred to as the convention facility tax, which is also called the liquor tax, and cigarette tax, which we have not received in many years. In order for us to use those monies that we get from the state for their intended purposes, which is basically for substance use disorder prevention purposes, and public health department gets a lot of that money from for those purposes. In order for us to use those funds for their intended purposes, we have to hold this truth and taxation hearing as well. So this is an annual thing that we do hold, and we hold it in June because of the fact that the county's operating levy is levied on July 1st. So in order for this to occur, in order for the millage rates to get approved after the public hearing, prior to July 1st, we have to do it in this manner. And we hold a separate budget public hearing in September, but the truth and taxation we hold in June in order to meet the requirements to establish the county's operating levy. And then we also do all of the other countywide millages that are listed: Lakeshore Museum, Veterans Affairs, Central Dispatch, and the senior millage, all at the same time, even though those aren't levied until December. And what I will explain here is this year, for the second year in a row, we have the impact of Headley, the Headley Amendment, which was passed back in 1978, which is causing us to have our millage rolled back again this year. Last year, we had the same thing happen. Our millage was rolled back last year. I'll just use the county operating as an example. From 2001, from 2002 up until last year, the county's operating millage was 5.6984 mils. Last year, it was rolled back because of the Headley Amendment and the calculation that results from that. We had to roll it back to 5.6978 mils last year. This year, we're also being impacted by the effect of the Headley Amendment, and the county's operating millage is being rolled back to 5.6601 mils. And then you can see on page 30, you can see the comparison of the millage rates, what they were last year in column 5. That shows all of what the millage rates were levied last year. And then this year's proposed rates are in column 9. So you can see that those rates are actually going down again because of the Headley Amendment impact. And if we did not hold the truth and taxation hearing, and I understand what Ms. Derwin's comment was in her public comment, because the way that we are required to publicize in the public notice we're saying that it is an increase in taxes, and that's language that the state of Michigan requires us to use. It's rather misleading, but basically what it's saying is that it's increasing property tax millage rates, because if we don't hold this hearing, we will actually be forced to lower that rate even further by the amounts in the public hearing notice. So basically what this public hearing allows us to do is levy those rates that are in column 9, which are less than last year. And at this public hearing, I do a PowerPoint presentation to try to clear up any of the misunderstanding that this is noticed as a increase in property taxes, because the language is misleading in that regard. But it is a lower, these millage rates are all lower than what they were last year.
So there's, Beth?
Yes.
So these are all continuing millages.
Correct.
There are renewals with no increases, effective decrease.
Right, and I just happened to notice that the museum village says on the far right, it gives the expiration date of 12/31/20, which would have been last year. So I will have to look at that to see if that's correct, or if it should have been, if they're going to need to get a renewal for that millage. I was thinking that was further out into the future, but the county operating millage currently has no end date, and you can see the end date of the other ones on there. So these are our renewals, and then the millage rates themselves are actually going down.
Yeah, so this year, Beth, actually this year it is a reduction in the tax rate, not an increase, correct?
The millage rate is going
Right.
down,
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
And it
Now
went
our-
down last year too, correct?
Yes, 2 years in a row, which had not happened, like I said, since 2002. We had not had the impact as a result of the Headley Amendment, which has to do with taxable value or tax revenues not going up more than the rate of inflation. So that hasn't impacted us for a number of years and up until the last 2 years. Our taxable values did go up 3.85%, which was part of the equalization report that you approved in April.
So Beth,
Yes.
so this reduction, how is this going to affect our budgeting going forward, or our ability to provide service?
So I did, because we had assumed in the 2021 budget a 3% increase in taxable value, and we ended up with a 3.85% increase. And so even though the millage rate, and I'm just speaking regarding the county's operating millage, even though the millage rate is being rolled back, the fact that our taxable value is going up, we're still good from a budget perspective. But I mean, it does affect us, because if you can see in column 4, our actual authorized millage rate that was approved way back in 1974 is 6.2 mils. So we're under that authorized amount. It's been what we refer to as rolled back because of Headley down to this 5.6601 mils. So it's, more than a half a mil below our authorized amount, which equates to about, it's over $2 million in revenue that we're losing because of the Headley. That we could, if we were able to levy our full millage rate.
Any other questions? Okay, hearing none.
You bet.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Well, I just said thank you to Beth.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Okay, can we have a roll call on this, please?
Commissioner Larry,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Pago,
Yes.
Chairman Skolnick,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
yes,
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes,
Yes.
Commissioner Seer.
Yes. That item passes. We'll go on to the next item, WM 21/05-53, which is to authorize the Human Resources Department to select Morgan Stanley as the 457 retirement plan broker for a 5-year period through May 31st, 2026.
So moved.
Support.
A motion and support. Questions, comments, concerns on this item?
I do have a question. Did we go out for bids on this?
Kristen? Is Kristen Wade here? Mark, you see Kristen anywhere?
She's there, but she's not, looks like she's having trouble unmuting. I can answer that question.
And
Okay,
it does say we got 3, but I wondered how they ranked in there, if this was the lowest one.
This is Kristen Wade. I believe I'm unmuted now.
Yes, you are.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Yes, we did go out for bids and we had 3 responses.
Can you tell me where this one ranked?
Yes, Morgan Stanley ranked the highest. They were 98 points. The next highest was 81.6 and the third was 73.6.
And what was the cost price ranking?
Well, purchasing encompasses that piece, but the technical scores before the pricing were still the same. Morgan Stanley was number 1, and then with the pricing afterwards, they were still. So my understanding is that they were the lowest priced as well.
Okay, thank you very much.
Any other questions?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I see that this,
Yes, Vice Chair Nash.
I see this is a 5-year contract. I don't remember us ever doing a 5-year contract. Is this something that we've typically done, or I remember a 3-year contract, but I don't remember a 5-year contract.
Is Kristen Wade on?
Yes, I am.
Oh, there she is.
The contract that's expiring with Morgan Stanley was for 5 years, but we can certainly do it for something less if that's what the commissioners would like.
What is the severability clause, or is there?
There is. We can terminate, and I'll have to get the exact time frame. I will have to look that up. But yes, there's definitely an out clause in there for us.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, may I just ask a question?
Yes, Chairman Skolnick, go ahead.
Kristen, didn't they, maybe I'm mixing this up with something else, but wasn't there a significant decrease in their cost?
They, a couple of months ago, yes, had offered to reduce their fee structure. So we did have a motion a couple of months ago that reduced their fee structure. And then their bid for this contract as well was that same lower fee structure.
But it was a pretty hefty reduction, if I remember right.
I believe it was 20 basis points.
Okay, so 20%. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yes, Mr. Eisenbarth.
Morgan Stanley does meet with staff on a regular basis, the employees of the county, or at least they offer it. So there is a lot of work that goes in this, and for the employees to get used to these representatives, it's nice to build that relationship up. So there is a value of a 5-year versus a 3-year, but I just want to give you that food for thought for our employees.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Vice Chair Nash, go ahead.
I'm wondering, Mark, have we gotten any type of surveys regarding our employees as regard to this service?
Kristen, the committee, go ahead.
Sure. We have not done any surveys, and we certainly could. But as Mark mentioned, Morgan Stanley offers educational sessions with our employees once a month. And those meetings are always full. We get lots of great feedback regarding Morgan Stanley and their assistance with our employees. So everything that I've heard and that we've received feedback on has all been very positive.
Is there a way we could take a quick survey to get something back from our employees, prior to our full board?
And we could put something out there either by Thursday, our IT department could. And
It'd
have
be-
something maybe back by Monday.
Yeah.
We'll give it a try.
Okay, any other questions? Hearing none, I'd like a roll call vote, please, on this item.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Pego,
Yes.
Chairman Skolnick,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes,
Yes.
Commissioner Laring,
Yes.
Commissioner Seer.
Yes. That item passes. Moving on to number WM 21/05-54 to approve creation of one new position for an Info Systems Tech 2 position, taxable grade NX-00210, $22.939 to $28.188 per hour, and to allow IT to post the position with human resources and amend the budget accordingly.
So moved.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Questions, comments, concerns, please.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Pego, go ahead.
so this is not budgeted in a new position. Why was, like, give me a synopsis. Why are we doing this as a non-budgeted? If they knew it was going to be a position needed, why wasn't it budgeted?
Mr. Chair, if you
Item
may,
Johnson, call.
have Patrick or Sander explain this request through the IT department.
Yeah, either one.
Thank you.
I can go ahead and start and then Patrick can take over where I leave off. Currently in the Hall of Justice for the courts, and as you know, the courts are a separate branch of government, but funded by the county. We have two of our own IT people. We have Sean Somerville, who is employed by the Circuit Family Court, and then we have Ryan Foster. His funding is split between IT. They pay 50%, and then Patrick in District Court pays the other 50%. But he does a lot of work. Actually, almost half of Ryan Foster's time is spent working for the sheriff. So these two people have been servicing not just family circuit court and district court, but also when probate court has a need, when circuit court records has a need. And of course, although we're paying fully for Sean Somerville, although the circuit family court is paying fully for Sean Somerville, of course, we're going to help out circuit court records, because if circuit court records isn't working well, then it's going to impact the circuit court. So we have no problem loaning Sean out to them when needed. But even when it comes to some of the recent work that the Board of Commissioners needed done, when we were trying to figure out how to most efficiently live stream, Sean Somerville was able to help with that solution. So the two people that we have servicing just the courts are stretched very thin. We have a lot of technical advances coming very quickly to us in the courts. We are going to be soon changing to e-filing, where all attorneys will be required to e-file. We have our current on-base solution that we're trying to finish expanding through the courts. It's in family circuit court in the prosecutor's office, and we are now working on getting it implemented in district court. If we have this extra staff, hopefully we can get this done sooner. We also, our AS400JS module, which maintains all of our court case information, we're migrating that system in the fall, and it's starting with circuit court, but eventually probate and district court will also migrate to this new system. We're also getting a new court recording system. As you recall, you as a Board of Commissioners approved that last fall, and we're going to need assistance in getting this implemented. And with all this technology, once we get it, it doesn't just go away, right? We all know that it takes maintenance and there's upgrades and we need people who know and understand these systems. So what Ivan is proposing here is that we have one additional person who's dedicated to IT located in the Hall of Justice, who doesn't just help us in circuit, family court, and probate and district court, but also is going to assist the sheriff, assist the board of commissioners, assist county administration, assist Clerk Waters, somebody who will be able to help in all of the departments that touch the Hall of Justice. I believe Ivan can speak to this, but he said recently that 60% of the help desk tickets actually come from the Hall of Justice. And so as you can see, we have a great need to have some assistance. Patrick, go ahead, and what did I miss or what can you add?
No, I think you did a fantastic job in summarizing that. Again, this is Patrick Finnegan, the district court administrator. One of the things that I think is really important to understand is that our IT staff, and what I mean by our, I mean really the county's IT staff that may or may not be funded through the courts. We share those IT resources. We stretch those folks, as Sandra alluded to, pretty thin, and we're able to now manage what needs to be done to keep things on a daily basis going. In order for all of these initiatives to move forward, which really carry us, not just the courts, but the entire Hall of Justice and all of the departments that interact with the courts into the 21st century, we need additional IT expertise in order to do that. I mean, I would love to be able to say these are things that existing employees or existing staff can do. And the fact of the matter is, a lot of this is really specialized. This is very unique information technology knowledge and expertise that requires folks that have the knowledge, the skills, and the training to be able to do it in order for us to be able to move forward and do more than just manage what's coming through the door every day. Do more than just put out the fires, the IT fires that happen to get lit every time we're using these systems. And as we've learned through the last year, unexpectedly though it may have been, there's going to be more and more dependence on information technology and information technology experts to carry this through. So that's why I think it came up as something that we really realize as a need as we look at some of those things that are increasing with the courts particularly, and the departments that the courts interact with.
So let me ask you this.
Mr. Chair?
So we're short staffed.
Commissioner Pago, go ahead, please.
Oh, I'm sorry, what was that?
Go ahead, please.
Yep, so we don't have someone already doing this. We need a new position. We don't have a current person right now that can do this. We're hiring from the outside, or are we throwing someone from within? What are we doing?
Do need additional people to do this work, and I don't think that there's anybody in existence that already has all of these expertise. So I think that the plan, and Ivan can say more about this, would be to post it and probably hire from the outside.
Ivan, will you chime in on this, please?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Ivan Phillips, IT Director. Sandra's summation was excellent. Patrick, thank you for your support in the position. It is really to cover all the campus over at HOJ. And Sandra, you were correct when I said it was 60% of our help desk tickets come from HOJ. Last month, the month of April, we had 538 tickets that are spread across 2 individuals. So we're stretched very thin. With the upcoming additional load from what's coming here and IT support wise, this position is being proactive, not reactive.
I appreciate that. So how soon is this hiring supposed to take place?
As soon as possible. The additional load will hit us in about 2 months. And it's going to take a little time for us to get a new IT person in that tier 2 position up to speed with what we do here at the county.
So are all of your staff currently working and not unemployed or furloughed?
Excellent question, Commissioner. No, I am not. I am not allowing IT staff to furlough currently. No, I am not.
Commissioner Hovey Wright, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm on the Health West Board, and I know that, that we're in the process of moving to an authority, and they will be taking over their IT. I'm pretty sure that's true. this is for Mr. Phillips. Are you aware of that? And are you planning for a possible reduction down the road when that happens? I mean, it sounds like you need, the case for having somebody with these specific skills on Hall of Justice, I think, has been well made. I'm just wondering about the big picture.
Yes, right now, currently, Health West has their complete own IT department with their own IT director and own IT staff. It really has no effect on the county's IT whatsoever.
Oh, I didn't know
Although we do support them when they call us and ask us questions.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Any other questions? Hearing none, could we have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Pego,
Pass.
Chairman Skolnick,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes,
Yes.
Commissioner Laring,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Pego,
No.
Commissioner Seer.
Yes. That item passes. Moving on to number 8, which is unfinished business. Is there any unfinished business out there? Hearing none. Item 9 is new business. Is there any new business, please? Hearing none. Number 10 is public comment. Is there anyone that would like to make a public comment? Please limit your comments to 2 minutes. I can't see anybody, so Mr.
Not
Eisenberg.
seeing anybody either.
Okay. All right, moving on to final board comment. Item number 11. Is there any final board comment?
Commissioner Seer, I do have a comment.
Yes, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, you know, the IT department, I have to give them a little bit of credit because I have to give them a lot of credit because during this time with COVID and everything, they kept the county running inside the county buildings, and got everybody up and working from their home or wherever they chose to be with all new computers and all new systems. And they really did a great job, and they didn't have to hire anybody for that. So I know that they are super, super cramped and trying to get things set. I just want to say thank you to all of them. And I know they also lost a IT employee early on in the COVID. So I just want to say thank you to those guys. They do a great job.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Brown.
thank you. Sandra, if you're still on the line, did I hear you say right that you're migrating from an AS400 system? Or Ivan, if you're there?
Yes, that is the name of the system that we use for the Michigan courts.
Isn't that like 40 years old?
Yes.
Yes, it is that
Yes, it is.
purple, black, and green screen.
I
Oh my
remember, so that scares the heck out of me that we've got such old technology. Okay, thank you.
Time to move on. Yeah, exactly. Any other final board comment?
Mr. Chair, go ahead.
Okay, hang on. Who's next?
Zach, Commissioner Leary.
Maybe a question for Mark anyways. It's not really a comment, but I'm actually got 2 things going on. I see the Facebook live stream has closed captioning. How long has that been going on? And it looks nice.
Give credit to Kristen Barnhill. She would have created that.
All right. Thank you.
Any other comment?
I have a
Mr.
question.
Chair,
Vice Chair Nash?
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment. I'm hoping that with the new funds that are coming down to the different counties, that we focus on a way that we can bring the technology to the rural areas.
Yes.
I think that's something that we just really need to focus on. You know, I'm not only concerned about our commissioners, but just our residents in those rural areas that do not have that benefit of that technology being readily available like it is in the inner city. So I'm hoping this board can focus on that and we can find a way to put this to bed.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Nash. Commissioner Hovey Wright, please.
Yeah, I would totally agree with Commissioner Nash. I think, you know, we need the people to be able to be online and go to school and whatever is needed for whatever's coming our way. And the rural areas have not had that advantage. But the main thing I wanted to ask, and this is a question that maybe has been answered. Susie asked, Commissioner Hughes asked if the county was responsible for buying all the computers and a lot of stuff that's needed at the airport. And I don't know that we heard the answer to that.
I can address that one.
Sure.
The laptops that we're referring to and phones, we're considering those as tools to do the job. And so we left what we had there. We didn't expect them to bring in their own system. Because they're really in there to run the organization, the employees, and run the operations. So we continue to pay our equipment to be there. We provide internet service for the passengers in the airport as well. So it's as simple as to have one system there. They also have their own system next to theirs that F3 works on their own stuff, but stuff that they had to integrate with our purchasing or stuff they had to submit for payment of bills, it has to go through our system.
So what are
Go ahead.
what are we paying for then? I'm not clear.
Yeah, I mean, we're paying for the vehicles that are out there. We're paying for the phones. We're paying for the internet. Anything to do the job out there, that's our expense.
And that was in the contract?
Yes, that was the way it's set up.
Yeah, they basically came in as a management company, and so that's
Correct.
probably what
Yeah.
it looks like.
Good way to say it.
Any other
Mark.
questions?
I have one other question if I could.
Commissioner Hughes, please.
Mark, you said that they're still using part of their own IT and that part of the IT comes from us. Has Director Phillips made sure that we are not overlapping so that we have a security issue out there?
Good question. I and Phyllis met with Director Lukens out there and they went through that. A very, very topic. Yes.
Thank
Any
you.
other questions?
Mr. Sear?
Chairman Skolnick, please.
I'd just like to, I don't think I've said this before, but just this comment is, well, first thing was, when I sold my business 23 years ago, I had just bought an AS400. So they're not necessarily 40 years old. That was only 23 years ago. So the other thing I wanted to say was, I've been attending many of the Ways and Means agenda work sessions. And I just want to compliment Commissioner Sear, because almost every question that was asked today was answered in depth at the committee, the agenda review meeting. So, I know a lot of people wonder if anybody's thinking about these things, but they're definitely thought about long before this meeting. So,
Thank you, Mr. Skolnick. I appreciate that.
Mr. Chair, I had one more comment.
Yes, Vice Chair Nash, please.
Going back to F3, Mark, we had talked about that incentive package, and I was a little disappointed in it because it didn't have any teeth in it whatsoever. They can basically do good or don't do good and get their incentive. And did we go back and revise that or anything at all?
Yes, we did. And I'll make sure you get a copy of it for your review. Yes. Between our attorneys, they did put some teeth on it.
Okay.
Any other questions? Any other final comments?
Has that already been approved and sent out without even our review?
Well, no, that was a directive from you to make sure that they're held accountable.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
I have one other comment real quick. I will be off Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. My son's getting married on Friday, so
right.
I get to enjoy that. Next,
Congratulations.
being a daughter. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Here in Muskegon?
No, in Colorado, actually.
Oh, okay.
All right. Mr. Skolnick, after all those accolades, I'm actually looking at item 12 as a closed session, but I see that the copy I'm looking at is a draft, so I'm assuming there is no closed session today. Is that correct?
That is correct. No closed session today.
Okay, thank you.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
All right.
I support.
Nash, thank you. We're adjourned.
Hey, 10 to 5.
Less than an hour. I'm just saying.
Great job, Commissioner Sear.
Thank you.
Bye.